Welcome to the Making Love podcast with Tish and Pastor Roy. This is where love gets real, faith leads the way, and marriage becomes something you actually enjoy. We're talking laughter, connection, and the kind of conversations that challenge what you thought you knew while giving you practical, faith-filled ways to make something that lasts. Whether you're married, dating, or just curious, this is your time to grow together, have fun, and create a relationship rooted in friendship, purpose, and connection. Because when love is made, it doesn't just last, it gets better every day. Welcome back to the Making Love podcast with Tish and Pastor Roy. Today is a good one. I think all of them are good, but today I really am excited about this topic. Number one, because it has served us so well in our marriage, and it's the one thing that we want all couples to understand. I feel like if you understand this particular thing, it will change everything about your marriage. So we're talking today about learning how to fight together.
Not each other.
Not each other. Instead of
Together. Fighting
each other, learning how to fight each other. So
to fight together.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say. So, babe, talk to the people about why you think this is such an important topic.
It's important because life does not always go your way. Things happen. People make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so obstacles arise. You have to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn to deal with them together.
Right.
Because you're in a marriage
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
The Bible talks about, you leaving your parents and coming together and being as one.
Yeah.
And so marriage unifies two lives into one life moving in one direction.
Mm.
And so you have to learn to stand together, to fight together, to deal with things together, instead of allowing obstacles and issues and challenges to pull you apart.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you all not only to be patient in this particular episode, because I promise you there's going to be something we say that you're going to be like, huh? What are they talking about? But I'm going to ask you to hold tight till the end, because I'm really hoping and praying that we will be able to instill something in you that's going to change the way you see marriage, period. So I'm going to pose a question to you. What if when something happened in your household or with your kids or, between you and your spouse, and when you begin to feel that feeling of anger rising or frustration or, irritability, all the things that happen when you're dealing with something, instead of saying, you did this and you said that and this is all your fault, what if you immediately said, there is actually a plan set against our success, and I recognize it. And instead of me going, it's you, me saying, you know what? We need to stand together. We need to attack this together because there's obviously something that's trying to come between us. And if we come together on it, we can win.
Correct.
Right. What if? Right?
Yeah.
How does that look? How does that look in our marriage?
Which time?
I know there's plenty of examples, but what's something that kind of really stands out for you?
The time that I think almost broke us apart.
Yeah.
It was the first business.
Yeah.
You had, a couple of clients rip you off, and it sent the business into a debt spiral. And I can't remember what it was, but I had shared a word with you to do something and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it sort of contributed to the downward spiral. We started losing things.
Mm-hmm.
The news showed up at the front door.
It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
It was not fun at all.
And so it was, we were at a point where I used to work, there was an apartment complex like right down the street. And at that time, they were running a big sale.
Yeah.
And I would see the sign every day after work. And I started thinking, like, maybe I should check into this because I don't know. Like, it was like that.
I mean, sometimes, again, you see a relationship that looks like it's, we got everything together and you kind of feel like, oh, they've never had issues like that. Well, we absolutely did. I remember dropping you off at work one day and actually saying, let's pray. And you were just like, I'm not praying. And you just got out of the car. I mean, it was that bad. It was could have been detrimental and, could have completely changed our future had we allowed that to be, us coming against each other instead of coming together. And so in that particular instance, what he's talking about, he had, asked me or shared with me about hiring someone who could help me really manage the finances because, as he said, there were clients who weren't paying. There were clients who had paid and had bounced checks. This was years ago, of course. It was really, really bad. And I was making fear decisions. And that particular time, in my mind, it was like, oh my God, on the outside, everything looks perfect, but we're like falling apart. If I bring someone in to help, they're going to see all of the damage. They're going to see. And so that was me really making a fear-based, it was selfish, in retrospect, obviously. But at that point, I was just trying to hold on to what, my image, my reputation, what people saw as the successful business that I had at that time. And so it really impacted how we were interacting. And, we were talking in an episode previous about when we were in Cancun the first time. Well, let me tell you, when we were in Cancun the first time, it started off as a great vacation. His company paid for his vacation. So I was like, hey, I'm going to join you. When you finish with your meetings, I'll be there and we'll spend another 5 days together. And first of all, I get there and the hotel that I stayed in that I was going to stay in was a farce. Don't trust everything you see online. So the front of it was gorgeous, but as soon as you pass the registration desk, it was not only a motel, it was bad. It was really, really bad.
Not even a Motel 6.
It was
like a
terrible.
Motel 3 out there.
So I'm, trying to find another hotel. My phone won't work. So I bought the international plan that allowed me to call from America to another country, but not within another country to a person who had the same plan. I couldn't get in touch with you. So I'm trying to find another hotel. And long story short, we finally connected, got into a reasonable hotel, spent a lot of money to do that because it just happened to be spring break in Cancun. But during this vacation, I got a call from my office manager. And what she said was all of the employees, we had a staffing company at the time, all of the employees that I had paid for the work that they had done were standing in line telling her that their checks had bounced. And at this moment, I'm in a whole different country. I literally remember exactly where we were on the road, headed to Chichen Itza. And we get this call. Now, mind you, my phone didn't work the whole time because we're in the middle of the jungle. That time, the phone worked. I got that call and it just deflated everything in that moment. What should have been a great celebration, nice vacation. That was the moment everything started to go downhill.
Yeah.
Finding out that the check that I had deposited before I left from the client had bounced, which of course caused the payroll to bounce. And, but all those things were out of my control. But the thing that was in my control is I hadn't communicated any of this to you.
Nope.
And so in this moment, we're at a place of, okay, by the time we get back home, the news is at the front door and employees, of course, are calling me and I'm getting all these bad reviews. It was a mess. And of course, it impacted our personal finances terribly. We lost our home.
Yeah.
We lost our cars. The older boys were off in college already or going back because I know Darrell was in Florida. Lavelle was in New Mexico State, if I'm not mistaken, because we only had Charles.
About to go.
We only had Charles with us during the crux of that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up staying at my brother's house for a period of time. So we were technically homeless. You know, we were technically homeless, and he is trying to deal with all the feelings of being blindsided. It's one thing to be blindsided by just, we didn't have any gas or the electricity didn't get paid, but to lose everything in one fell swoop because of the decisions I'd been making and hadn't felt safe in that moment. It was my fault, not yours, but not felt safe to communicate that to you was a big deal. So I share all that story because I want you to know that we've been through things. We're not talking about little things. We've been through things. And so we had a choice to fight each other or to fight together. And so you can pick up where I'm leaving off. How would you describe to them? And it wasn't an overnight thing, obviously. And it wasn't okay, I just forgive you and we're going to get back to, make it all work in a moment either. But how would you describe how we got through that particular scenario?
Largely, like I said, I was hurt. I was upset. And I was only thinking about how everything that was going on was impacting me. And when you have that attitude, it makes it very difficult to grab your partner's hand, especially when you blame them.
Yeah.
And say, we're going to stand together and push back and fight through this. It makes it hard. But I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And so I only knew how I felt. I only understood how it was impacting me.
Yeah.
And I remember I just wanted to pray about, I don't know what it was, something else, not related to marriage or finances, something else. And it was like, God was like, I'm not talking to you about nothing.
Thank you, God.
But your wife. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about her.
Yeah.
If it's anything, I want to talk about that apartment deal I saw. But God really would not let me in prayer pursue any other avenue. I had to talk to him about you. And I think I shared in another episode how I had entered into a covenant with God concerning how I was going to treat you as my wife. Mm-hmm. And he was like, this situation does not absolve you from the covenant. Mm-hmm. You said you were going to treat her a certain way as your spouse. She's still your spouse. Yeah. You need to get up and you need to treat her the way you said you would do it. And emotionally, I was still mad. Yeah. But functionally, I said, I got to do what I said I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And so, we had a rocky conversation because I was still struggling. But eventually we made the decision, and this is key. Mm-hmm. We made the decision to stand together and not throw blame. Yeah. Because blame doesn't fix anything.
Sure doesn't. Mm-mm.
Blame doesn't fix anything.
Right.
So you got to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we made the decision. And I say it's key because I decided to stand with you and to fight with you despite how I felt about what you had done, said, or not told me about, or whatever.
And understand this, that decision had to be made every single day. Because, now mind you, we're waking up every day from a bunk bed with our child. Was he up in the top bunk? No, he was in the other bedroom. He was
in the other room.
Yeah, so we're living in a bedroom that's designed for children, in a bunk bed that's designed for children, living out of our boxes and suitcases because we had all of our things, that we could in that room with us. And we were there for months. Yeah. We were there a good 6 months. And during that time, the fight that was in us we had to resolve that we were going to fight together against the situation and towards our future success instead of, the blame and the resentment and all of those things that were legitimately there
Right.
and reasonably, right? Anybody in their right mind would say he should have been mad. He should have been pissed. He should have been mad, right?
Yeah.
And even in that, deciding to move forward. So it's not necessarily that everything's going to be perfect, that all of the things are going to get resolved in a single conversation, that you're going to be able to pick up all the pieces overnight.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't decide to fight together, you will absolutely fight each other.
Exactly. Correct.
And if you fight each other, you're fighting against the marriage, which is why the divorce, statistics are so exceedingly high.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we see that happen and it happens and it's real. But I'm hoping that you're understanding we're giving you some tools, even if you've dealt with this before and it's like, ooh, last time that didn't work out. For the next time that you're in a relationship, it's like, okay, I can do this different this time. I can totally do this different.
And this is the thing, I believe why most marriages fail is because people don't know how to fight together.
Right.
They fight each other, and they don't know how to come together and fight the circumstance to change things.
Right.
And that's the critical thing, because I don't know anybody who's been married anywhere near as long as us and hasn't had something like this.
Major, big time.
I mean, I know people that at one point, somebody went off and got an apartment.
Yeah, for months. Yeah, for sure.
But so you go through things, but you learn to stand together,
right, and
to fight together, and to say, you know what, we're gonna fight to change this. We're not gonna let this break us up.
Right.
There are people who they lose a child, and they let the pain of the loss push them apart instead of them coming together.
Yeah.
The loss of a business or a career trajectory.
Yeah.
And they let the pain of that loss push them apart. And those are the moments more important than any other that you have to learn to come together.
Yeah.
And say, we're going to fight and make this better.
Yeah. And, interestingly, fighting together doesn't always look like we assume it'll look. Sometimes fighting together means I'm fighting on your side and you don't even know it. Meaning you are going through something, and even if it's maybe negatively impacting me, I am going to go and get on my knees instead of get in your face.
Yeah.
And so there are times when we're still fighting together, but he may not even know, or she may not even know that you're fighting with them, only because they're not in a place to receive that at that point. But
maybe they're not ready to fight yet.
Maybe they're not ready to fight yet, but I'm still fighting for you. I'm still fighting with you because us is more important than that.
Correct.
Whatever we're dealing with. And I think I shared the story in a previous episode how when we hadn't really developed our marital language, we really hadn't come to a place where we can communicate effectively yet. There were times where I would go into your closet and I would pray over your clothes and pray over your shoes and like, God, when he puts these shoes on, allow him to send your present, whatever, because it was so important to me. And me being right or being heard in that particular moment wasn't as important as you being able to be whole and healed.
Yeah.
So that we could actually come back to that place of, being able to fight together in the traditional sense. Stress is a wedge. And so there are big things like we're talking about, which obviously was stressful, but there are some intangibles, right? Some things that may be invisible that can also try to come between marriage, and we don't always know that that's what's happening. What kind of things in your mind tend to be the biggest concerns for most marriages that create that separation?
Really, anytime you have anything that's very important to you, whether it's just important to you personally or it's important to your marriage, and things don't seem to be going well, it creates stress.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a diagnosis when you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a notice from a lawyer you weren't expecting a notice from.
Right.
Whatever it is, maybe instead of a paycheck, you get a pink slip. But these things create stress.
Yeah.
And how you handle that stress translates into how well your marriage is going to go.
Right.
Because if you try to internalize everything, what you're doing is you're literally creating a wedge between you and your spouse.
Right.
And a marriage is about together, and wedges and together don't go.
Absolutely don't.
So you can't have that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, somebody told me before we got married to make sure that I don't show what stresses me out to you. Like I never wear it, never show it, never talk about it. So you always feel safe and comfortable.
Bad advice.
And I remember thinking, well, what about me?
Yeah.
I want to feel safe and comfortable too.
Yeah, for sure.
And at first I took the advice, but over time I realized, you know what, no.
That's not good advice. Don't take that.
Yeah,
sure.
I was like, let's talk about, because you have perspectives that I can't generate.
Yeah.
That may be helpful.
Right.
And I'm cutting myself off from my helpmate because I don't want to share what I'm dealing with.
Right.
And so absolutely I learned to open up as soon as, because I'm weird, you know that. I don't always know I'm stressed out. I can't tell.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to tell me, and then I have to go and investigate and figure out why.
This is true, for sure.
But you learn when you can open up and share the stress, it doesn't pull you apart, it pushes you together.
Right, for sure.
And that's key.
And, God, the time goes by so fast. I want to make sure that, we share this, from a biblical standpoint. The Bible talks about the fact that when 2 or 3 are gathered in the Lord and in his name, then God, Jesus is in the mix. And in a marriage, there's always 2. That means there's always strength. So the enemy's entire desire is to come in and separate that.
Yeah.
So that's why we say there's always a plan set against a relationship, especially one that's impactful. One that has a call that's designed to really strengthen others that are doing the same thing. So,
and let me just add, sometimes the thing that comes against your marriage is another person.
So true.
Because they're jealous, whatever. They could be myriad reasons.
Yeah.
But they try to come between your marriage.
Yeah.
And I want to speak to husbands. Never be friends with a man that disrespects your wife in any way.
Amen.
In the instant that happens, you cut the relationship.
Look, if you're not cool with him, you're not cool with me. That's just all there is to it.
Absolutely.
So I want to end today's episode with a quick description, because people who follow us online, they'll always know that I call you my Superman. And I want to explain why. And it's not because he's perfect for me, but we know we're not perfect people. And it's not because he's perfect. He's never lifted me over over a building in a single bound, none of those things.
But I saved you from those bees that time.
You did. That's a story for another episode. But there's a song, and it's not a Christian song, but I love it, by Robin Thicke, called Superman. It's not one of the popular songs everyone knows, but it's one of my favorites because the description that he gives about Superman and how he came to rescue someone who had lost their confidence, who didn't know who they were, who lost their way. I feel like even in the story that we shared today, you were definitely my Superman. The places where I felt like I fell the biggest, the worst, right? That I had lost my confidence, where I felt like my reputation had been completely broken. You were the only safe place. You were the only person that I can look to and still see hope outside of, listening to the Father, obviously. And so the reason I call him my Superman is not because of the reasons most people would think. He has been that person for me who's helped me to pick up the pieces and find my way again when I had lost it. And for that, I thank you and I love you.
Girl, when this camera shut off, you're getting some shit.
So I hope you heard something that's been helpful for you. learn to fight together, not each other. And if you have any thoughts about what you heard today, I really recommend drop them in the comments. Send them over. We'd love to have this conversation with you, even if it's in the comment box, because I know that there's probably some thoughts swirling in your mind as a result of today's episode. So we'll see you back here on the Making Love podcast with Tish and Pastor Roy next time.
See you next time. As we wrap up today's conversation, remember, marriage isn't just about getting through life together. It's about truly knowing, supporting, and enjoying one another along the way. When you create your relationship on faith, true friendship, and intention, love becomes something that grows stronger every day. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who means the world to you, and keep leaning into the kind of love that lasts. We'll see you next time, Love Podcast with Tish and Pastor Roy.